Okay, next one is happy people fully engaged. Happy people fully engaged. The engaged life is a good life. Whatever you do, do your work with a whole heart, as for heaven, not as for men. Paul of Tarsus said that. He's a very smart man. He wrote most of the New Testament. Paul of Tarsus. Being engaged means what? It means being connected with what you are doing. Wholehearted participation, being really in it with all you are, and you will be happier. This is part of the flow. Flow, wholehearted involvement in an activity takes us to another dimension of existence. This is what we're talking about, transcendence, heavenly. When you get into flow, it says you're transcended. Okay? It's almost like worship. Your wholehearted involvement in activity. You know, the word recreation, you know, when we do things like basketball, sports is a place where we get into flow, right? There's a flow in sports. And there's a reason why it's called recreation. Recreation. It's creating all over again. Creating again, creating again. Getting into the flow. It takes us to another dimension of existence. And you're happy. Flow, as you heard researched by this is another Russian name. I'm not even going to try to say that name. But there it is where they said this. Is where the sense of the duration of time is altered. He's defining it. Hours pass by in minutes, and minutes can stretch out to seem like hours. The combination of all these elements causes a sense of deep enjoyment that is so rewarding. People feel that expending a great deal of energy is worthwhile simply to be able to feel it. That's flow. Have you ever been like with your best friends or been in this situation where you were just so in it, that moment, that time passed, and before you know it, 2 hours went by, and it felt like minutes? You ever been in a situation like that? That's flow. You're in flow. Now, if you could just bottle that, that's happiness right there. Okay, that's part of happiness. So if you can get in, keep yourself in the flow, you're going to be happy. Flow results in a timelessness that gives us a taste of heaven and transcendence. This timelessness. I deal with the support groups in Florida, where we get people that were struggling with addictions, like drug addiction or alcohol addiction or other type of addiction, and we get them in these groups with other people that are struggling, and it's a place of safety where they can talk about their pain, and it's like, we always say, what's said here stays here, because they can't gossip, they can't talk outside the group. And people finally get to a place where they can unpack the baggage, right? They can finally be honest about the struggles in their life. And I tell you that, those are some of the best times in being in a group with guys doing this. It's like timelessness. You can just feel it. And the time goes by, and before you know it, an hour and a half's gone by. You're like, it just seems like it's been minutes, right? Because we're being honest. We're talking about what's really in here. And what are we doing? We're reaching transcendence. Okay. Conditions needed for flow to happen. I thought that was a weird, what do you call that? An optical illusion there. Focus. We're talking about focus. Can you focus on that? Okay, first, activities must be both challenging and within our ability to do. So they must match our gifts. Okay? Activity must match our gift. If it's something you can't do, you're going to get frustrated and you won't get into the flow. So it must be a little bit challenging, but also within our ability. This is good for children too, if you're going to be a teacher. You want to give them things that stretch them a little bit, but it's within their ability to do. Right? I remember I was in I witnessed, I think it was a situation I witnessed where a dog was driving, right? A father and mother, and the kids were in the back, right? And the gives it to his little toddler, right? Here, have a drink, because he was thirsty, right? So he gives it to him. He's driving, right? Gives his toddler a Coke. What happens? He spills it, of course, all over the car. And the father's like, stops the car. Stupid kid, you know? I want to say, stupid dad! The kid was only a toddler. He wasn't able to handle a Coke in the car, right? He was only 3 years old. So whose fault was it? The person who had the Coke or the person who gave him the Coke? Okay? The person who gave him the Coke. Okay? So you have to recognize ability. That's a good parenting tip. Don't expect your kids to do something they're not developmentally able to handle. They have to be developmentally able to do what you ask them to do. And always make sure that you tell them what the rules are and what the consequences are before you. You know, you don't just slap them like out of nowhere. They got to know what the rules are and what the consequences are. Don't expect them to do what you ask until they know, right? Maybe you already know this. Maybe you already know this. Okay, second, we must be focused and concentrate, diligent. And these are things I think Chinese students, I know you have this. Third, we must have clear goals, know what is expected and how we're doing it, intentional. Fourth, we must be deeply involved and have some control over what we're doing, self-control. You notice this word self-control doesn't mean other control. Can you control other people? You really can't. I mean, there's only so much you can do. So you can really only control yourself. And that's all you were designed to do, is control yourself. So self-control is important. Lastly, we need to lose ourselves in a sense of time. The activities takes all of us and we are in the flow. And that's meaningfulness. Okay, so here's some tips to reaching flow. Involve yourself in activities that you truly love. That's your passion. Stretch yourself, developing skills to help you enjoy these activities. Get out of your comfort zones to truly feel alive. Open up to deeper levels and risk sharing your fears with others. Now this may take finding safe people, and that's a whole other talk I can do. You know, I'm not saying go out and just take risks with everybody. Not everybody's worthy of our sharing. You know, we each have treasures inside of us. Those things. And if you have to test the people. If you bring out one of your treasures and somebody steps on it, they're not a good person to talk to, right? So the people that handle your treasures properly, in a loving way, and you can trust, those are the people we want you to open up to and do some risk sharing, right? But push yourself to accomplish things you've never tried before. Learn a new skill or hobby, like speaking Chinese. Oh, that's for me. Speaking English. Remember that flow, timelessness, happiness, and fulfillment all involve being wholeheartedly engaged, and getting there means we involve ourselves in activities that capture our hearts. Oh boy, let's keep going. Okay, 2 keys of being in flow. I'm going to have to keep going here. Just commit to being there and choose a worthwhile activity.